Frogs with extra body parts started popping up all over North America in the 90s, legs growing out of faces and eyes in weird places. But why? In 2023, researchers in Western Australia found a blue, magnificent tree frog, so rare that even frog experts said they'd never seen anything like it. And in Florida, a two-headed snake was dragged into someone's home by their cat. These are disturbing mutations discovered in nature scientists want to forget. In April of 2023, Australian farmers at a small hobby farm in Queensland noticed one of their hens had not two, not three, but 4 legs. 2 extra limbs dangled awkwardly from her rear end. Now, what's really interesting about this case is that the other chickens noticed this, and they did not like it. They bullied her. They pecked at the extra legs, pecked so hard that feathers fell out and a wound formed. The chicken had polymorphia, a rare birth defect where extra limbs form, usually when an embryo starts as a twin and then reabsorbs but leaves parts behind. And looking at this chicken, you can see that these are full legs. They're not just these little stumps that barely look like legs, they're functional. A local farmer eventually rehomed the 4-legged hen to someone willing to take care of her separately, otherwise the rest of the flock would have tormented her, probably to death. In the late 90s, people started finding frogs with freakish mutations all across North America, like legs growing out of their faces or 2 extra limbs near their chest. One kid in Minnesota came across a 5-legged bullfrog in 1996, and stories kept rolling in from states like Wisconsin and even into Quebec, Canada. It wasn't a cartoonish anomaly. These deformities were very real. There were misshapen eyes as well, appendages sprouting in weird spots, and sometimes even had mixed reproductive bits. Researchers weren't sure what was going on here, but eventually they landed on this messy cocktail of causes. Parasites burrowing into tadpoles, chemicals seeping into ponds, UV light messing with embryos, and just predators biting off limbs that then regrew in wonky ways. They called it a sign something was going wrong with the environment. Over time, they narrowed it down to 4 main issues, but no single culprit explains every case. These frogs are still popping up today, just thankfully not in huge numbers, but every once in a while someone pulls a limbless tadpole or a frog with an eye in its shoulder out of a pond. In 2020, a homeowner in Florida was surprised when her daughter brought a tiny snake into the house. The cat had caught it. Small, but it still shocked her because it had 2 fully formed heads on its body, each head moving independently with its own tongue, eyes, even competing for control when they ate. Wildlife officials named him Doss and said it was a southern black racer. This kind of mutation, called bicephaly, happens when an embryo splits and then stops, basically creating an identical twin that doesn't fully separate. The snake was taken in by Florida fish and wildlife experts who said this snake could survive in human care, but that chances in nature would be slim. Snakes like this can't dodge predators as easy, they can't grab food as easy, they can't even agree with each other. One head might go left, the other wants to go right. It's just an absolute nightmare. So while a 2-headed snake sounds pretty dangerous, you'd actually have an easier time dealing with 2 heads than 1. Next up is the Dracula fish, a tiny see-through freshwater fish discovered in Myanmar in 2007. It's just 1.7 centimeters long. The males have these creepy fang-like bones protruding from their jaws. Not scales or teeth, but actual bone structures that jut out in front like vampire fangs. Scientists say billions of years ago, its ancestors lost real teeth, but this lineage reversed course and grew bone fangs again. Evolution in reverse. Pretty cool. These fangs are used by males in fights. They jab at each other in territorial squabbles. The fish is translucent, almost larva-like, and has far fewer bones than normal fish. Most of its body is cartilage, which just makes its fangs stand out even more. Scientists still don't know how or why this exact setup came about. Fangs regrowing in a species millions of years after losing them is pretty wild, and since it's only been found in one small stream, it's just kind of a freak show of nature that may never exist anywhere else. In September of 2024, a farm in Kentucky welcomed a calf that looked like some sort of bizarre Frankenstein creation. It had two fully formed heads on one body. Each had its own eyes, snout, and neck, but they shared a single body and internal organs like a heart and lungs. The little calf also had other issues: a cleft palate, twisted spine, underdeveloped rectum, and weird jointed legs. Farmers said the odds of something like this happening are around 1 in 400 million. I'm not sure how they find that number, but apparently that's the case. And unfortunately, the calf didn't make it past its first day. Honestly, as bad as this might sound, I think that's a good thing. I mean, not only would it have had a poor quality of life, but you really want to see this thing walking around. Casey Tarter, one of the farmers, is also an agricultural student at Western Kentucky University. She mentioned the two-headed calf in class, saying they decided to use it as a learning opportunity. They took detailed photos, they examined its oddly fused organs, and used the data to teach about developmental issues in mammals. In March of 2018 in Shangjing, China, a farmer found a calf with 6 legs. There were 2 normal legs at the front and then 4 weirdly dangling limbs from its belly. The calf had trouble moving because of the extra limbs, but other than that, it was doing okay and quickly became a local attraction. People from the area started visiting the farm just to take pictures with the calf. This isn't the first time something like this happened in China. Back in 2014, another 6-legged cow was born in Shandong. This one had 2 extra legs growing out of its neck. The farmer Zhang Gongjun, who helped deliver the calf, said, "I've raised the mother for 5 years and seen her through 4 births, and I've never seen anything like this before." Once his friends shared photos of the cow online, people started showing up. Zhang said, "I get crowds of people here every day and all kinds of camera crews from TV stations." According to a 2002 study, cases like this are very rare. Only around 4 in every 100,000 cattle are born with extra limbs. In August of 2019, an angler named Debbie Geddes pulled a trout out of Lake Champlain, which had 2 mouths, one where it should be and another just below it. Her photo went viral, with people calling it the catch of a lifetime. But scientists don't actually think this was a genetic mutation. They think it could have been caused by an injury that healed oddly, creating what looks like a second mouth. One researcher from Harvard said this sort of deformity can happen when soft tissues heal in strange ways, not because of DNA changes. But that's just one theory. Nobody really knows what the deal was with this fish. Geddes released it back into the water. In October of 2021, a rare 2-headed turtle, later named Mary Kate and Ashley, hatched in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It was a diamondback terrapin that hatched with a rare condition that caused it to have 2 heads and 6 legs, all sharing one shell. Bird's Eye Cape Wildlife Center posted a photo of it on Facebook, along with the caption, "This is a condition called bicephaly. It's a rare anomaly that can occur from both genetic and environmental factors that influence an embryo during development." Even though animals with this condition usually don't make it very long, the staff felt pretty hopeful. The turtles continued to be, quote, bright and active, and were eating, swimming, and gaining weight each day. Mary Kate and Ashley were discovered in a protected nesting spot. Researchers noticed that while they shared a shell, they each had their own spine and digestive system and seemed to team up to move around. In 2023, during heavy monsoon rains in India, farmers found a 5-foot albino cobra slithering through their home. Unlike some pale snakes though, this one lacked the dark pigmentation entirely, so it actually kind of glowed pale pink in the rain. Albino cobras are almost unheard of because without pigment, their skin is very sensitive to sun and their vision usually suffers. This snake was venomous, fully grown, yet somehow it managed to avoid predators and humans until it found shelter in this person's home. Wildlife rescue teams safely captured it, and the cobra was taken to a wildlife rehabilitation center, where vets said its survival was slim but improved with care. But while albino animals pop up here and there, an adult albino venomous snake is shockingly rare, apparently. In 2023, conservationists in Western Australia came across this bright blue frog, white spots, totally different from your average green tree frog. Field researchers at night heard some rustling and wandered over to see it perched near the workshop. The frog lacked the yellow pigment thanks to a genetic mutation, leaving only the blue tone behind. It's so rare that Jody Rowley, a biologist who studied tens of thousands of these frogs, said she'd never seen anything like it in her entire career. Scientists don't know if this blue frog will survive, find a mate, or have a shot at passing its color on, but regardless, it's a reminder that wild genetics can still surprise us. I've been your host, James. I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next video.